So, before we start with the verse, I want to just round up what we spoke about last week. So, last week we spoke about integrity and how to be in integrity in your life so that you are not a hypocrite. You remember what else we spoke about in our phone? Someone that was here?
How we control different urges.
Yes, how we control. Yes, how we control the tongue, the belly, the genitals, anger, and all different desires. Yes, we spoke about this. So I would like to ask, maybe someone would like to share if there was maybe some moments the last week where you felt that it was difficult to be in integrity with who you are and what you stand for, if there was something, you know.
What's the meaning of integrity?
It means that what you say, that you do that. You know, if you're, means that you're not a hypocrite, you can say. Like many people, they say, for example, if you're a Muslim, you say, well, I'm a Muslim and I follow everything, but you still eat things with pork in. You know? So that's a hypocrite, and you're not in integrity with what you vow to do. Or so maybe, I can start. This was the day before yesterday. On Monday I was at work, and I have this very sweet colleague, and she came to me and for lunch, and she's usually like, I always bring some pasada for her, and she brings something. And this time she made pizza and she gave it to me, and I was like, okay. I was like, it's not prasadam, you know. And I felt okay. It's kind of, well, sometimes it's Shri Vishnu, but you know, like she's cooked in her kitchen and like this. So I felt I was like kind of like stretching my kind of borders a little bit, and I'm not maybe being entirely in integrity with myself. I should like, after I took one bite, I said, oh yeah, it might also be a little bit garlic in the tomato sauce. And I was like, oh, okay. Not like this, so I was like, okay, a little bit. So I had this experience as someone. I don't know if it's anyone else who has any experiences the last week. Something. I'm the only one experiencing difficulties, huh? That's so nice, that's really nice. Have anything you would like to share?
I moved back to the place I come from, and then I know a lot of persons there that is not so Krishna conscious. That's a dilemma.
Yes.
How much I should talk to them or not. Especially, the opposite.
Opposites.
Yeah.
Yes, we will speak about it today.
That's a
challenge. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Anyone else? Felt it was difficult. Justir, you have an input.
Yes.
Yes. What? Did you feel something this week where it was difficult to be in integrity with yourself?
Well, yeah, I feel that a lot, but it was at least yesterday was the birthday of my friend, so I tried to like maintain a good relation with him to somehow preach his how do you say he's a little set in his ways, so it's not so easy to preach directly, but of course prasadam is always everyone can accept. So I went there after work, and then I cooked something, and I made an offering, and then yeah, we took the prasadam. His mother also took, so I had to, and it became late, so I stayed overnight. And and I needed to chant a few rounds of japa, and also needed to chant my Gayatri, and I also needed to change my Brahmin thread. So I thought immediately, oh no, to do that in the house of these, of these people is, anyway, there was some resistance in me. Anyway, I felt that, well, I have to do it. It's a duty. So I did it. Took off my shirt and changed the threads, chanted on the thread. And he was very appreciative, actually. So he finds it a little mystical, the whole thing. It's like, oh, you can't speak the mantra out loud. So it was a nice experience. So when I felt if I maintain my integrity, then Krishna's protection is there. That was what I was thinking. But if I sort of stray from the path and I do some, some shortcuts or what do you call it? Anyway, then the protection may not be. Of course, the protection is always there, but it may not be in the same way, not as direct. And Krishna may direct his Mahamaya instead of his.
Yes.
What's it called? The other Maya, Mahamaya and Yoga Maya. Yes. Then he may direct the Mahamaya to teach me a lesson, and not the Yoga Maya.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start with the verse.
Is the sweet offered?
No.
Something was brought?
Yeah, but it's not sweet, it's vegetables, and it's not offered.
Oh, it's supposed to be offered?
Yes.
Yes.
We don't take bulk. Okay, everyone can see over there?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see. So this is the second text of Nectar of Instruction, and it is a verse about what you should stay away from. If you want to be Krishna conscious, you should stay away from these things. It's like a warning, actually. It's Prabhupada said that actually, if you want to make progress, like these who don't follow these instructions, they attain devotion extremely rare. So, yes. So the verse goes like this. Atyahara prayasascha. Atyahara prayasascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyanti.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Atyahara prayatyascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpo nityamagraha.
Prajalpa niyamagraha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Jana sangas chaloryam cha.
Shabdir bhaktir vinachati.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpa
Prajavaniyamagraha
Janasangaschalolyam cha
Janasangaschalolyam cha
Shadvir bhaktir vinashyate
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati
Atyahara prayasascha
Atyahara prayasascha
Prajavaniyamagraha
Prajavaniyamagraha
Janasangaschalolyam cha
Janasangaschalolyam cha
Sadhir bhaktir vinasati.
Shabdir bhaktir vinashyati. Okay. Ati ahara. Overeating or too much collecting.
Overeating or too much collecting.
Prayasya. Prayasaka. Over endeavoring. Cha. And. Prajalpa. Idle talking. Niyama. Rules and regulations. Agraha. Too much attachment to.
Too much attachment to.
Or agraha. Too much neglect of. Janasanga.
Janasanga.
Association with worldly minded persons.
persons.
Cha. And. Lolyam. Ardent longing or greed. Cha. And. Sabdihi. By which this. By these six. Bhaktihi. Devotional service. Vinashyati. Is destroyed. So you get kind of like a view inside what the verse is about. It's really nice. Some important verse and some important words. The translation is: one's devotional service is spoiled when one becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulation only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulation of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. Yes, so it's a very long purport. We won't go through it, but it's a very, very nice verse because it really, like the first, like we said last time, the first 7 verses of Nectar of Instruction are. It's all about your attitude. So if you can follow these simple 6 and some of the other of course the other verses also, but if you can stay away from these 6 things, you can advance quite fast and quite nicely in Krishna consciousness, and your devotional service will develop. And let me see here. Yes, and yes, the attaining devotion is extremely rare. Srila Prabhupada says, and also Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has written this extremely wonderful book. It's called Sri Bhakti Aloka, and it is a book only about these 6 things that are not favorable, and then about the 6 things, the next verse, which are favorable. And it goes really in depth. It's really, I can very much recommend it. So let's take, I thought we'll take word by word and see if we have a little discussion about it. So atyahara, overeating or too much collecting. So it says the stomach's desire to overeat, and the tongue's desire is to taste foodstuff. So, like we spoke about in the last verse, that if you can control the tongue, you control the stomach and the genitals. So, again here, Sri Rupa Goswami says atyahara. So you have to be able to stay, like, to not overeat and do not collect too much. Prabhupada gives this example of if you put a bag of grains in the marketplace, open field, you put a bag of grains. All the birds, they will come, they'll take one, they take whatever is needed. Nature is built up in that way. Krishna has built it like that, so that everyone gets what they need. But because humans, like if we saw a bag of grains, we'll just take the whole bag, and run home and like, yay, I have, it's like this over-collecting, this tendency to over-collect. So, actually, how the world situation is today, how so many people are suffering from hunger and poverty, is because a major part of humans are over-collecting. They are following this, they are not following this verse. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes how actually without sense enjoyment we cannot live. When sense enjoyment stops, we leave the body. It stopped. Because we as a spirit soul, we cannot survive without being active. But we have to do this without the feeling of enjoyment. So if we can still eat and we can fulfill our desires, but with the purpose of serving Krishna, then we are not qualified as animals. We are qualified as spirit soul, as servants, souls as servants. So, since we are active beings, we can engage all our bodily parts in service of Krishna. And actually, when we do that, that is bhakti yoga. That is Krishna consciousness, devotional service. We engage, like we spoke about last time, we engage the tongue, we engage our mind, our ears, all the senses, especially when we chant japa, all the senses are engaged. And even more in kirtan, because then it's harder for the mind to stray away. So, and also if you, atihara also means not just overeating but also over-collecting. So if you collect more than necessary, your spiritual life will be controlled by your material desires. So we should try as much as we can to let our spiritual life be controlled by devotional service. And there are different kinds of, different kinds of devotional service for brahmacharis, or those who live in brahmachari ashram, those who are in the sannyas order, and for those who are grihastas. Grihastas, they are allowed to save and collect for their family members, for their ashram, and the brahmacharis, they are not allowed to save. They should just take whatever is needed and let the rest be, and they just more depend on Krishna's mercy as that. But while grihastas, we kind of have to plan, because if you only, you're still depending on Krishna's mercy, but you kind of have to plan that if you have a child, like Inga and Marius have Arjuna, you have to know that you will have food on the table next month. It's that kind of, at least for a woman, I think it gives peace of mind, peace of heart. Yes. So the next word is prayasa. Here is prayasas. The word is prayasa. So just find the exact translation. It's over endeavoring. It means that, first I was like, what does over endeavoring mean? And I first heard this in Vrindavan. Like, what does this mean? But it's really when you're trying too hard for a material cause. So it's okay. You can try over endeavor for example, if you go on Sankirtan, this is then you're kind of overstretching yourself, you know, but you're doing it for Krishna, so this is extremely purifying. But to over-endeavor for economic values, or for, you know, like Prabhupada said, like to work as dogs, you know, you just work to make. It's funny, you know. I think it was Mahajuti that gave this example that you take up a big loan and you buy a house, and but you have to. The loan is so big, so you have to have a full-time job, which means that you will stay most of the day. When you're not sleeping, you will stay out of the house, and you come home maybe 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and you have like 4 hours before you have to go to bed. So you spend 4 hours in the house that you bought, which you have to work all the time to pay for. And who is enjoying the house? Well, the dog, which is at home. So it's it's just prayasa. It's over-endeavoring to satisfy material needs. And the most lowest kind of prayasa is pratishta. Anyone know what pratishta means? Pratishta, you know? Can you tell us?
It's designed for name and fame.
Name and fame, yes. This is the lowest kind. If you want to have you're over-endeavoring to be famous. You know? So this is the lowest kind of desire. And actually Sanatani Goswami, he compares this desire, he compares it to stool. And he says that this is the cause of all anarthas. So all the bad qualities, everything that we have collected in our heart, life after life after life, he says this desire for fame, this is the cause of all that. So that we have this desire, like, oh, I want to be this great kirtani, like, and you become very, very proud, not because you want to sing for Krishna, but because you want name and fame, you know. So this can be like a spiritual, like, well, you're still chanting God's name, but you still want name and fame. Yes, Namaparad. Yeah. So you will still be proud, and it's. It will make you. We will not gain anything good, to say it like that, if you go for fame. But it's explained that actually this is deep rooted in everyone. Everyone wants to be a little bit famous, you know, like a little bit. Yes, like we have one god sister in Finland, and she never tells people who her guru is, or how many rounds he's chanting, and what I think something like anything about her sadhana, something like that. It's like some few things she never shares with people, because she feels that sometimes it can be kind of a competition. My guru is this, my guru is that. And also, that easily it can become a thing to be proud of, that you're chanting more, like this. Every Kadashi you chant 64 rounds, you know, like. Something like this. Some people feel a little bit proud of this. So it's important that we can recognize this prayasa, that we can stay away from it, so that we can get closer and develop more Krishna consciousness. Next word, prajalpa. Anyone knows what prajalpa means?
Idle talk.
Idle talking. Yes, prajalpa is actually, it's every talk except from talk about Krishna. So you have janalpa and prajalpa. Janalpa is when you speak about, it's like talk about Krishna, and prajalpa is very unfavorable. Janalpa is also kirtan, when you sing God's name, or when you preach. And prajalpa, it can be a very big stumbling block in devotional service, meaning that it can have some really bad reactions. for example, maybe we have some examples on Prajalpa. Come with some examples. I know Prabhupada mentioned some in the purport, but maybe what are different kinds of Prajalpa? Chandra. You don't know anything about Prajalpa, only Jalalpa.
Doesn't do that. So
She doesn't do that stuff, yes.
That's
Yes.
It's a safe position.
Yes, she's,
I know one thing which is very bad.
yes.
You know, the politics, because in ISKCON is a big organization, and there are different levels of management, and different people are involved. And some enviousness, because of pure heart is there, and people, sometimes like in Russian, if you translate directly, it's like washing the bones of the people. If you washing the bones, it's not in English, then it's Russian saying. So, this and that, he got, divorced or whatever,
Like you
divorced with his wife, and he accepted another one, and he's blah 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 blah. And it actually becomes offensive. And one thing, okay, even if he committed something wrong, he or she, why you meditate on that? It's asat, it's prajalpa. So like that, it just leads to either offense or just bringing consciousness low to the matter. So that's it could be very bad. I've seen people just going away just because they've been engaged so much into this, yellow pages talk.
Yes.
So,
But it's very difficult. Who was it? One of our acharyas. He just walk away, right? If there is anything he hears anyone speaking bad about.
Jayananda Thakur.
Jayananda Thakur, yes.
He would, if someone would speak bad, especially if someone would, gossip and speak bad about the devotees, he would.
Gossip is the word.
Yes, then he would just, he would leave. He would leave that place and engage in some other service because he could not. But he would not chastise. He would just slip away and leave.
Pride, attachment to sense enjoyment, foolishness, and self-pride. So all this, if we find faults in others, it means that we are very proud, and we think that we are better. So it's at least even you may not. At least in Kali Yuga, we don't get actions for our thoughts. So even if you have these thoughts, you can keep it to yourself. But we can actually, because we're quite in a close, intimate group, of friends. So it's really nice that we can remind each other when this is happening, because I'm sure I can. If I just count 1 week, I can find probably I don't know how many times I'm thinking something about this or that. So it's nice that if we as friends we can help each other with this really strong point. Okay. Niyamagraha. This is yes. It's either it's pronounced in two different ways. It was written in the purport also. It's niyam. It's one is with the line over and one is with not with the line. So it's niyamagraha, niyamagraha. So niyamagraha is when you have too much attachment to something, and niyamagraha is when you're neglecting too much. So take for example that I think in Bhakti Shastri at this point we spoke about detail or principle. I think so. Yes. So that you can become very, very fanatic about something, about a rule and regulation, because you think this is a principle, But actually, maybe it's just a small detail. So it's if you are.
And you can make the details principles, and the principles details.
Yes, depending on the person.
Yes.
Well, actually, this words, this point, it means that you should be able to say yes to whatever is productive for you, and you should be able to say no to whatever is counterproductive. so that you should follow the 4 principles, and yes, actually when you follow the 4 principles, Prabhupada says in the Prabhupada, when you follow the 4 principles, you're actually doing what is prescribed for you, and if you are following just the rules and regulation for economic development, then you are doing what is prohibited. So I don't know. This was like there was so much about this verse, and I was really thinking, okay, what I mean, not the verse, but this word, because it is actually, the word agraha means eagerness to accept, and agraha means failure to accept. So it's one should always accept what is favorable for one's spiritual development, and then reject what is not favorable for one's spiritual development. Okay, so let's do Jnana Sangha. Anyone can tell me what it is?
Association with the person who are attached to sex and money.
Yes. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says women.
Yeah, well, that's I'm just. I can use the word women, but the idea is sex, you know, for, because women are not generally attached to women.
No.
But they might be attached to the same.
Yeah. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that one point is women, but if a woman is following sadhana bhakti, the man is the same poison for her. You know, like, so it's not just women, but it's the same whoever is not following. So, what does jhana mean?
People.
People is, and sangha means association. So, if you associate with people who are devoid of devotion, this is another explanation of it.
This is the right explanation.
Yes. Yes, association with worldly minded people. And so actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains there's 6 kind of people, which are these people. It's the Mayavadis and the atheists, and it are the sense enjoyers, and it's the one that are, the number 3 is, okay, 1 is Mayavadi atheists, number 2 is sense enjoyers, number 3 is those who are fond of the sense enjoyers. And number 4, women. Number 5, womanizers. What does that mean again? You said.
Shorty.
Oh yeah, those
Woman
who, who are running after the limbs. And then there's 7 actually. The 7th is the hypocritically devout. I can't remember. Devout. The hypocritically devout. And
those who are devoted to hypocrisy.
Yeah. Those who are devoted to hypocrisy, meaning those who are not in integrity with themselves. Did you understand?
Yeah.
Yes, you got it. And number 7, ill-behaved, foolish outcasts. You know? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he likes all these harsh words. But so if we associate with this kind of people, I mean, it doesn't mean all women are bad. It means that women who only have worldly things or sex on their mind, but it's also the same for men. If a man has only sex on his mind, it's not a good association for a woman. So, like you said in the beginning, worldly minded people, those who think of money, sex, drugs, rock and roll, this kind of association we should try to...
What's about nam-rock? Is it that rock?
Huh? Nam-rock? Well... If you ask me, I say yes, because of the vibration of the music is so low, but if you ask my husband, I think he disagrees.
Yeah!
No, but you're talking about shelter.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I get pain all over my body if he puts on that music. Oh. So, but it all depends on our ear.
You have some other likings in music, so if it would be right, then it would be good. What you like music? Sorry, it's deviation.
Kirtan.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, it's more because the vibration of heavy metal, it's shown through research.
Here it comes. Here it
Scientists
comes.
that because our body contains of 80% of water, and actually, if you put heavy metal music next to water and you take the crystals of it, it runs away. No, it gets deformed, you know. So actually, and if you play like classical music, Mozart and this, it become nice water crystals. So I have a whole book about it.
Is it true though?
It's true.
Well, it is true. It's everything. You can feel the vibration, you know? But actually, we train our ears. Like if you listen a lot to it, you won't even hear that it has a different vibration. But if
No, nothing happens to water.
No, it's just
yes,
true.
it happens to water.
But I mean, what's the proof?
No, they are proof.
Yeah.
But
Scientific proof?
Yes,
it's
scientific
not
proof.
Vedic proof.
it's still material anyway.
Yeah.
In some sense, it's still material. It's not spiritual. So good crystal, bad crystal, if it's still in the material platform, that's good.
It's just how it affects the physical body. I
Yeah.
mean,
So if
I
you
guess-
like heavy metal, then
it's a very gross kind of compared to kirtan or Mozart. It's a very gross kind of energy. So
Material
But,
energy is
Yes.
gross energy.
we cannot say that shelter
Classical
is a
rock
gross,
is the same.
well, they're singing very transcendental songs.
Right.
So and Raghunath Prabhu, he's a wonderful devotee.
Yeah.
Makes lots of devotees. So all glories. Okay, let's do the last point. It is Lolyam. Oh, here's written Lolyam. And what does that mean? Chandra.
Greed.
Greed. But you can be greedy for someone. Who is that?
Krishna.
Krishna. Yes. Very nice. So it's not only greed, it is ardent longing, restlessness and desires. So right here. Yes, so when you have greed for worldly things as drinking, nice food stuff, sleeping, smoking, wine, wealth, and women, this diminishes devotion. So Lolyam, it can be very good if you're greedy for Krishna. You're greedy to do more service. You're greedy to wash the floors for in the temple. You're greedy to do the dishes. All these different desires can be engaged in Krishna's service. But when it's not, it's actually diminishing our devotional, like our bhakti. It's just vanishing. So especially kind of when you're in Vrindavan, you feel this immense greed for new saris. I don't know if it's
It's very detrimental to your devotion.
maybe just for my husband's wallet. But you kind of spiritualize it because you use it in the temple. You know, and all the
Yeah. It's like the heavy metal thing all over.
But 20 is not much, huh?
20?
20 saris.
No. That's
Minimum.
Oh my god.
Just different perspective.
But it depends if you're brahmacharini or if you're married. Because Prabhupada said the husband has different duties, and one of them is to buy jewelry and saris for the wife.
Acha.
I think this is taken out of context. I'd like to see the quote.
Flute.
I did something like that.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah, just give him the bucket. Yes. So, actually, I wanted to do a small, because every time we do a little exercise by writing, and this time, I would like you to, I'll repeat them again, what they mean, and I would like you to think about and write down. You can take one and pass on, and you can take one and pass on. Think about which one is most difficult for you of these things. Is it atyahara? Is it overeating and over-collecting? Is it prayas? That means over-endeavoring. Prajalpa, is it Monday talk? Niyamagraha, that you are, it's that you have too much attachment to something, or that you are neglecting something. I mean, that you're too attached to something and that you are neglecting too much of something. Or is it Jnana Sangha, that you're associating too much with worldly minded people, or that you are greedy? So, some need an extra pen? Oh, I have, okay. Huh? The second one is that you are over endeavoring, that you are collecting too much.
No, it was
No. It is that you're trying too much. That you're just working for to make money. You're just you know, like you're working like a dog just to maintain yourself and your senses. You should know them. You've done Bhakti Shastri.
Such a long time ago. What if I...
I already have mine from Bhakti Shastri here. So I think it's the same. Like, and if you're really in doubt, you can write 2. Sorry. Niyamagraha, what did I say, Chandra?
Too much.
Too much that you are you're like hvis du for fanatisk, da. Du kan liksom følge det som... You can follow whatever is what do you call it, good for you, or and you reject what is not good for you. But you can also be those who follow what is not
For
good
rules and
for you.
regulations.
Yeah, rules and
Either
regulations.
too much attached or neglecting them.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry for...
No, thank you. I'm just too many words. Yes, following too many regulations or rejecting rules and regulations. So which one do you feel that you can mention 2?
2 is enough.
Yeah, you can if you have. I mean, if it's difficult to choose. I mean, I have difficulties with most of them, but if I have to choose, I'm not going to collect it in, so you can write it out.
I guess it also depends, you know, like on the
Situation.
period,
Period,
And we should cover it, hide it.
You're going to go the round.
Yeah, to speak.
Say loudly.
Okay.
I have to say loudly. I have to put on the plate.
Oh, nice.
Okay, everyone has something? But you remember what husker du hva det betyr? Nei? Ja, jeg kan skrive det på norsk også. Bare skriv virkningen av hva du synes er vanskeligst. Er det vanskelig så ikke snakke tull? Er det vanskelig å følge alle reglene, eller følge for lite regler? Er det vanskelig å jobbe for mye for at du gjerne vil ha mer og mer og mer og mer? Er det vanskelig å ha dårlig assosiasjon? Hva som er vanskelig? Eller grådighet? Okay, are we ready?
No.
So we can go around, we can start.
Yeah. Okay, so let's hear what you find most difficult. Let's start with Dr. Fong.
Me?
Yes.
I think the second one. But in the sense that I have a tendency to, what do you call it? Absorb myself in whatever I do. So sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Because if it's material, then I have tendency to also, and also something which is supposed to just be one practical solution. I have also tendency to overnever, like spend too much time just to get the best solution, but it might not be always practical. But when because I mean I have other duties.
So you should try to really engage all that kind of addiction to Krishna, right? That would be great if you can. It's very nice to be fanatic.
He's also saying that he can get into too much detail and get sort of, even if it's like a Krishna conscious subject.
Is it called perfectionist?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do fanatics about it. But it can also be like very simple things, like cleaning something, then I want to make it perfect, but trying to walk.
You should make get perfectionism learning slokas. Be fanatic about learning slokas. That would be great.
Problem is sometimes I don't want to go to bed because I want to continue.
Yeah.
Like some type of.
In India, you this ability was fully engaged in cleaning.
Yeah.
He was cleaning so much.
So you're attached to very good result, perfect result. It should be
Yeah,
perfect,
that's
nonetheless.
yeah, and especially good results. That's actually the right thing to say.
It's actually a good quality if it's a bad.
Or is it bad association?
Bad association, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's probably for many of us. It's,
Yes, but especially
especially, yeah. Especially like,
family, especially.
yeah, I was thinking for us then.
Especially family, I think.
Yeah. It's very, very difficult because you have to associate with them at some
Yes.
level, unless you just, when I lived in Denmark for 9 years, it was so detached, Then, really, I love my parents and all, but when they're so close, it can be very, very difficult because you still have to respect them.
Yes,
But they are not, like you have different kinds of authorities. People can be authority of age, but also wisdom, of their knowledge. So I will say my mother, she's authority of age, but she's not of knowledge. So at least Vedic knowledge.
That is knowledge.
That is knowledge.
Yeah, I just what I say, I moved back to the place I came from, and I oppsøkte ikke. Altså,
You didn't seek it out.
I don't seek it out, but someone tapped me on the shoulder that I know from the past, and I know when I come back there now, I have to be more careful with associating with, yeah.
Well, Tony will take care of it.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I was overrasket, also surprised. Because I was not thinking about it, and then I get really, they try to come in again, in my, so I was not thinking about it so much before I moved there, but I have to be careful with it, because I know that can, yeah, Prajalpa drag me more away from Krishna again, so I have to be careful with this thing, because I know them very well from before, and they don't chant Hare Krishna, you know what's happening if you talk too much to them.
Asatsanga.
Yes.
Yeah, actually I wanted to write the word Shadbir.
Shadbir?
Yeah, Shadbir means 6,
Yeah.
because all are there, but then the idea was to pick one, and I still couldn't pick one, I picked 2, so it's Jana Sangha and Vaulium. Because Jana Sangha is, well, I had plenty before I even got to know about Krishna. Well, I guess many of us been there, done that. So, and I mean, okay, you restrain from association, for months, years, whatever, but your mind is, all samskaras are there. It's polluted. So actually, you're doing this satsanga in your mind. You don't need anybody around you. That's enough. You have this impression, samskaras, very strong impressions. Doing something bad. Maybe some drug you've been taking, and you have very strong impression from it, and you're attached to that in a way, or sex life, whatever, some bad thing. So this, and of course when because the tendency is there when why it was mentioned, those people who are very fond of enjoyment, they have that's the life pair of them. They just,
enjoy
I'm
the
gonna
senses,
get it. Yeah. So, this enthusiasm, it looks so real, and it's actually infecting you also, because the seeds are there. So when you get in touch, it's very hard. You can see it's arising, the desires. It's not being cleared out. And yeah, Laulium is also. It's in a way connected. It was the greediness to achieve worldly things, is it? So it's fair. Otherwise, I would be just, in love with Krishna. Otherwise, that's quite subtle, actually. It comes. Usually, you say comes down, but it comes up. It rises up to the level of ahankara, the false ego, the most subtle element. We just read in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the element from which everything is unfolding. It's the subtlest element. So you basically, we cannot see even the air, and the air is more, the ether is more subtle, and then we have mind and intelligence, and the false ego is just completely unseen for us. So this thing is there as long as we have this desire. It means the indication of having this thing. I'm just, the description of pure devotees, they just lacking this thing. They don't have it. That's why they don't think themselves to be part of this world. There is nothing attractive. It's, they're not connected. But we are under this, element. So, I like to speak.
Very nice.
Very nice.
But I mean, that is there, and it will be there for a long time unless we get some mercy. Otherwise, it will be there.
The mercy.
The mercy is the only solution from those who don't have it.
Yes.
Those who don't have it, they can, hey, what are you doing? It's all nonsense. Give it up. Otherwise, how can we get it? Unless we get that association. So, that's some of it. Of course, I'm hiding stuff. So, I'm not being completely honest. Right. We reserve the right to be dishonest in our dealings. That's,
Yes.
of course, not being in integrity.
Yes. Isn't it? Thank you, Anton.
You're welcome. If you want to hear something, then you're welcome.
I'm struggling with everything. I think the most prominent one, which is most detrimental to my spiritual life, is this Jnana Sangha, the same as the Emperor said, that it comes to your mind, even if they're not there. And this desire is still there in the mind. And I remember in Gadagiri, the class Chaitanya Charanpur would say, Gadagiri, no asatsanga is there. Still you have asatsanga from your mind. Like this. And we were there, we experienced nothing is there. And still the mind goes to this desire, that person said this, that person said that. So it's this Jnana Sangha outside or also in the mind. It's quite difficult. And also, I struggle with also prominent is this lower this selfish desire for happiness, this greed for happiness. That is there many times, and that we are supposed to serve selflessly for Krishna's happiness. But sometimes during the seva you wish to feel happy yourself. But then you don't feel happy, because Krishna is not happy when you're like this. And that is like, it's like from the material life, it's so easy. You just want to please your senses. So this is very strong.
We spoke last time about this, how you can, because still you're eating prasadam, but you're still eating the prasadam to enjoy your senses. So I read that you should, when you take prasad, you should think, how would my guru like this prasad? How would Krishna like this prasad? You should visualize them eating it, and then you kind of put your own senses on the side. And okay, well, not so sure. Well, Maharaj likes vegetable juice, but I don't know if Krishna, he would do 10 days on a juice fast. Not so sure.
Not Jagannath.
The Jagannath, you would be like, we'll have a nightmare. No Jagannath knocking on the door. Where's my sweet?
But I think it's different. Krishna is the enjoyer, and Maharaj is the servitor.
Yes.
Even it's a different mode.
Yes, it is very different.
That's why one could be austere. Krishna is never austere. Well, usually.
Yes, well, in some homes. Sometimes it's a bit austere.
If somebody forgets to feed him, he has to be.
Inga,
Yes. For me, it was difficult. It's talking not about Krishna all the time. I don't understand how it's possible to talk about only Krishna all the time.
But it also means that you can speak about Krishna's devotees. It doesn't mean that you only have to speak about Krishna, how he looks like, what he does. You can speak about Krishna's devotees, about Krishna consciousness. You know, like about when you are going to the supermarket buying vegetables to make prasadam. That's also, you know, like, oh, I want to buy this today because I want to cook this and that. That's not prajalpa.
Yeah, but in family it's very difficult.
Yes, I know.
And then associations, but it's also only family and work. Family who are person who are not devoted, and work. All friends are like now here in Krishna consciousness. So
And that's the
family I
goal.
cannot avoid.
No.
And that last one.
Lowly?
But it's very difficult actually because I don't want to be like famous or something.
Krishna. This is Krishna.
Wow.
Is it Krishna?
She said, this is Krishna, and Inga, she read the Ishupanishad, or you read some books from before, right?
No.
No? You just heard about it? But you made your own japa beads.
Yeah.
That's quite amazing.
That's
like,
Lolian.
That's Lolyam, you know? So somehow Krishna could see your desire in your heart, your Lolyam, and you met Chandra, and then now you have devotee friends, and you're not alone in Oslo anymore.
No.
And then through prasadam, you know, you agreed to make Mari's devotee, cooking for Krishna and making prasadam. Maris became a devotee also. So this is, you know, Krishna is really fulfilling your desires.
Mm.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yes. Yudhishthir?
Atyahara, overeating.
That's something
very
I wasn't
honest.
talking about.
But for him it's not a problem, huh?
No, I just cannot realize it yet. My consciousness is a bit too low for that.
Yes, you want to expand or it's fine? That's it.
And what more can I say?
Let's eat. No?
Yeah.
Chandra? Atyahara? No.
Well, I think at the moment more prominent is the Jana Sangha and Prajalpa, and I think they're kind of interconnected. I, for many years, been living in the temple in such a safe environment, kind of you don't have really bad association much. And lately I've been to my country, to my home, and had to associate a lot with my family and some of the friends. And it really affects the, like when you have loving relationship with them, and it really affects the consciousness. I could feel it. And then I come back, I live with devotees, I come back and I start to speak some nonsense to them.
Yes, actually, this is the same which I had in Vrindavan like 1 year ago almost. I have two Prajalpa and Atyahara, collecting, not eating, but collecting more than necessary. I can buy some things like next year I will use it, you know. And I don't know, I have like this I must be like a hamster or something in my last life, you know. I'm just like over collecting so much. It's like for you know, like it's bad times. I'm sure if all the shops, everything closed, you know, like food supermarkets, I could survive, you know, for years. It's like I have so much stuff, you know, and it's amazing, so much stuff, and still it's like getting new. So that's difficult for me. I know, you want to Atyahara. Okay, so I think we will round it up. I would like to thank everyone for their honesty and participation and showing up for this Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Satsanga. not asat, but sat. And yeah, next time we'll speak about verse number 3. What is good for devotional service, devotional life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.